Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh. Welcome to the segment of Khoj Gurbani's a-sabad-a-day. The recitation is from Gaudi, Mahalla Pehla. Mata mat Pita Santokh, Sat Bhai kar eh visekh, Saram surati doe sasur bhai, Karani kaman kar man lay, Saha sanjog vyaho anjog, Sach santate kaho nanak jog. This is a relatively short passage, but has, as always, profound insights and meanings for us. Guru Nanak here appears to be speaking, or is in fact speaking, from a state of consciousness that we ordinary humans probably cannot appreciate. He's speaking from that state of oneness, where he says, Kehna hai kich, kehna na jaye. There is a desire to say something of that experience, of that universal consciousness from the vantage point from which he is speaking. Kehna hai kich, kehna na jaye. There is something to be said, but it cannot be said. Language is inadequate to describe that state of oneness. That's the central message of this passage. Tau kudrat qeemat nahi pai. Language is inadequate to estimate or to actually even articulate the majesty and the power of the Supreme Creator. Tau kudrat, power, nature. Qeemat nahi pai. Qeemat, estimation. So that really is the central message, is that language in itself is inadequate. We need to focus on non-conceptual ways of looking at reality. And that's what he starts the passage by saying, using the metaphor of a family, on how to cultivate the faculties within us. Mata mati. The most important thing is the mother who gives birth and is the earliest guide. So Guru Nanak Ji is saying, make wisdom the mother. In other words, be guided by wisdom, Guru wisdom. Pita Santokh, contentment, the father. Sat Bhai kar, truthfulness, your siblings. And these are your special relationships. These are special. Mata mati, Pita Santokh, Sat Bhai kar eho visek. These are qualities that we need to cultivate. Add to them, Saram surti doe sasur bhai. Effort and awareness are the in-laws. So there has to be constant striving, saram, with awareness, not just blind striving, guided by wisdom. And karni kaman kar manalai. Good deeds should be like your spouse, always by your side. That is the lifestyle to be adopted. And that leads to saha sanjog vyaho anjog. Saha literally means a king, but here symbolizes the sovereign experience of harmony with hukam. Saha sanjog, auspicious, coming together. Vyaho vinjog. So the wedding is equated to separation. Separation from what? Separation from the ego. In other words, transcendence of the ego. That is what happens. So there is a little allusion here to the marriage of a girl who separates out from her paternal household and then goes to live with her husband. Likewise, the ego, the mind, is been likened to that soul bride that separates from her familiar surroundings in order to be with her spouse, here a signifier for the self, for our ultimate self. So that's the union that is being sought. So we have to, in effect, break down or separate from our conditioned way of looking at things. And from that union emerges Sach, the truth, another symbol for the self. The offspring of such a union is oneness with the self. Kaho Nanak Jog, this, says Guru Nanak, is Yog or union. So here he is laying the foundation of that indescribable state of ecstatic union on the one hand, and also speaking about the foundations of Dharam as the underpinning of a Gurmukh lifestyle, as well as the basis for a just and fair society. You have to remember that Dharam, a very important term within the Indian context, was all along based on the notion of a hierarchical social pattern, which had over time become legitimized by a caste system and was governed by karmic law. And in such a universe, Dharam was fixed and confined to the execution of an individual's caste functions. There was no mobility. Any departure was viewed as an attempt to destabilize an established order and was met with dire consequences. And it required intervention, not generally to the liking of the lower castes. But here, Guruji is making Santokh the first principle. That is the principle of an ordered individual and social life. So what he's doing is he's breaking down established hierarchical patterns. No longer is an individual trapped in a caste-based fixed role. Instead, moral action, good deeds become the equalizer, and that sets an egalitarian and democratic tone for a society. Until the next time, Waheguru Ji Ka Khalsa, Waheguru Ji Ki Fateh.